The Witch's Prophecy, a narration from Macbeth, based on Macbeth by William Shakespeare, first published in 1623. The Scottish moor stretched endlessly beneath a brooding sky, its heather-covered hills shrouded in mist that seemed to move with unnatural purpose. Thunder rumbled in the distance, and the very air crackled with an otherworldly energy that made even the bravest soldiers quicken their pace. It was on this desolate heath that fate would intercept two Scottish nobles, forever altering the course of their lives and the destiny of a kingdom. Macbeth and Banquo rode side by side, their horses picking their way carefully across the treacherous ground. They were returning from a glorious victory against rebellious forces, their armour still bearing the marks of battle, their spirits high with triumph. Macbeth, Thane of Glamis, was particularly jubilant. His courage and tactical brilliance had secured a decisive victory for King Duncan's army. The king's favour shone upon him, and his future seemed bright with promise and honour. The first sign of something amiss was the sudden stillness that fell over the moor. The wind ceased its howling, the distant thunder paused, and even their horses began to prance nervously, sensing something their riders could not yet perceive. Then, through the swirling mist, three figures materialised as if conjured from the very earth itself. The Weird Sisters, for that is what these creatures were, stood blocking the path ahead. They were neither fully human nor entirely supernatural, but something unsettling that existed in the liminal space between worlds. Their appearance defied easy description, ancient yet ageless, withered yet possessed of terrible vitality. Their clothes were tattered remnants that seemed to shift and change like smoke, and their eyes held depths of knowledge that spoke of secrets better left undisturbed. The witches spoke in unison, their voices creating an eerie harmony that seemed to echo from multiple directions at once. They hailed Macbeth with titles both familiar and impossible. Thane of Glamis, they called him, acknowledging what he already was. But then came the prophecies that would poison his peace forever. Thane of Cawdor, and most shocking of all, King hereafter. Banquo, ever the loyal friend, demanded to know his own fate. The witches turned their unsettling gaze upon him, delivering riddles wrapped in contradictions. They spoke of one who would be lesser than Macbeth, yet greater, not so happy yet much happier, and most mysteriously, one who would beget kings though be none himself. These cryptic words seemed to dance in the air around them, their meaning as elusive as the mist that continued to swirl about the supernatural encounter. Before either man could demand clarification or challenge these impossible claims, the witches began to fade, melting back into the mist as suddenly as they had appeared. Their parting words echoed across the moor. They would meet again. The heath returned to its natural state, leaving the two noblemen to wonder if they had witnessed reality or should the same impossible dream. The spell of the moment was broken by the arrival of messengers from the royal court. Ross and Angus brought news that seemed to validate the witches' supernatural knowledge. Macbeth had indeed been granted the title of Thane of Cawdor, the previous holder having been executed for treason. The first prophecy had already come to pass, lending terrible credibility to the others. As the reality of the situation settled upon them, the two friends found themselves changed by what they had witnessed. Banquo, wise and cautious, warned of the dangers of trusting such dark prophecies, noting how evil often tells partial truths to lead good men astray. But Macbeth's mind was already racing ahead, calculating possibilities and wrestling with desires he had never allowed himself to acknowledge. The seeds of ambition, long dormant in Macbeth's heart, began to stir with new life. If the witches could predict his elevation to Thane of Cawdor, might their final prophecy also prove true? The thought of kingship, once unthinkable for a loyal subject, began to take root in his imagination like a poisonous plant that would soon overshadow all other considerations. The moor fell silent once more as the party continued their journey toward the royal court, but the encounter had set in motion forces that would ultimately consume them all.